Uh,
Six-pack Lapadat. We got the champ, 59-kilo champ. Wascar is here. You're
yep.
back, dude. Talk about. We got a lot to talk about, but
Yes, we do.
first off, so from gee, I don't even know how to unpack all this, but you talk about a monumental moment on the platform where
Yes.
SPD has a rolling camera. I don't want to jump too far ahead. We will. I want to play that clip, but your final deadlift and what it meant, slaying the demon that is that Sheffield qualifier, and the camera followed you off the platform, celebrating with your family. It was the picture perfect moment for
Yeah.
you and sets up Lithuania perfectly.
Yep.
And then last podcast we talked about what if Fedo comes back, the GOAT 59. You have
Mhm.
your big showdown. It looks like a 90% chance my man's going to be there. It's as long as all things go as planned, he won't be lifting under the Russian flag. This is not 100% confirmed. Heavy indications that this is the direction we're going through. Sheffield qualifiers in reach. Fedo's on the table, punching your tickets all the way around from World Games to Sheffield to your big showdown. This is a pivotal year for you. This is
It is.
huge coming ahead. But before we get there, Marcellus gave us a bit of background, but you had a hell of a year from
Yes.
buying a gym. Body weight went up. There was rumors you were 250 pounds. Is that true?
I was coming for
Deuce,
Jesus, man.
deuce and a half. You're a large gentleman. But
Yeah.
how was it since we last saw you? Because Marcellus was saying you were super disciplined for so long, and then
Correct.
there's a break between meets, and your life got pretty flippin' crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously the story ends well, so we can talk about it. But so
Yeah.
catch us up a little bit.
So yeah, so like after I like right before 2 months before Worlds, I was in the middle of prep for Worlds. I signed the lease because I was like going right after nationals. I knew that I'm trying to find a building to open my own gym and everything like that. And then everything lined up the way it did. And on April 1st, I signed the lease for my facility, right? And I right away. So I'm in. So April would have been. I competed. It was like early, week and a half into June. So that would have gave me about 10 weeks. I think if my math is mathing, 10 weeks between I signed the lease and World. But I also knew that in the business world, hey, I got this lease signed. I got to get moving on this building because equipment is going to get delivered, and there's certain things that I have to do before I can take delivery of equipment. So I'm in here. Me and my videographer, a great friend of mine, we're in here painting. We're moving the horse stall mats, and if you know anything about horse stall mats, they're about
Damn.
100+ pounds each. We're in here getting equipment ready, so on and so forth. And then, of course, I think it was like that very last block before Worlds. I had to take a step back. I was like, all right, I got to focus on this, make sure that I'm ready for the big stage. So but then we go to Worlds, go to Malta. We did our thing there. And then, I knew that once I came back, there was going to be that 9 month period between Worlds and then Nationals again. And of course, I was still hopeful for like a possibility of a Sheffield wild card, which would have been cut back to 8 months. But at the same time, I knew it was going to be a long shot because there was people in front of me that made more sense for them to get a wild card spot. So unless a bunch of people declined and people dropped off, I knew it was going to be a long shot. So I was like, you know what? I have time. I'm going to focus on getting the gym ready, and that was that. So, and that's kind of how it all started. While I early on, I was trying to stay on track with meal prepping, and my lifting really never stopped. I up until I'll leave this for a little bit later, but my lifting never, I never stopped training. It just came down to the diet and staying consistent to what I know I need to do in order to make sure that I make 59 kilos. And between a lot of late nights, 2 in the morning here, days after day, and through all this, I still have a full-time job. So I
Oh
am,
damn!
yeah,
What?
yeah, and that was the big caveat, right? Because I have a full-time job. I get off work at 5:30, and then I only have X amount of hours between spent time with the family, get the gym, train, because I'm still training four times a week, and then try to build out the gym.
Dude,
So
this is insane.
yeah,
Full-time job in the family and training because you're a world
yep,
champion, for God's sake. Crazy. Taking on a gym, which is like opening a restaurant. It's
yeah,
the craziest.
yeah. And also, this is my first business venture, first everything in a gym.
Yeah.
So it's all right. So I only had so much time that it was either leave it, push it forward, or do the late nights and try to get everything done so that things are ready when it ends up needing to be ready. So the last thing that ended up being on my mind was meal prep. I was like, oh, man, I'm hungry. I'm on my way home. I'm gonna get McDonald's. I'm hungry. I just want to eat. I want to fuel the body. And the weight just kept creeping up. I was like, oh, I got time. All right, we're chilling. We're 7 months out. I've done this before. We got time. And that ended up becoming the what do you call it? The norm that I kept telling myself is we got time. And before I knew it, I was I was in the neighborhood of 70 kilos, and it was time to go on prep. And at this time, it would have been November 1st is when we really were like, all right, man, we
Oh
have
my
to
God.
figure
When,
this out.
when you when you when you had that check-in with Marcellus, were you like all right, man, you sitting down,
Bro, I
listening?
was sweating, dude. I was
Yeah.
sweating. I,
That's the hardest
it was
check-in.
like one of those things. Like as a kid, you're in trouble with the principal,
Yeah.
your parents. It's like, dude, I did not want to say those words. I did
You're
not want,
like,
bro. Like I didn't want to be Marcellus at that point. Bro,
yeah.
you're about to hear a 7 in front of my weight,
Yeah,
and I'm a
yeah.
59 kilo.
He's like, come again? I'm sorry. Did you? He's sorry? We're breaking up. We're breaking up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're like, no, no, no. 7-0. 7-0 is right.
Yeah.
You heard me right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But
So I mean, it happened, and I knew that. But it's always one of those things with me that like it just with my wrestling background. So wrestling in high school, and it was one of those things that I knew the date was coming. There was the date wasn't moving. March. Um, so I always have like a adequate timeline, which it wasn't ideal for my coaches. My coaches were definitely wanted me to be a lot lighter in that perfect time. But it was one of the things that I knew that like I know it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something that it's ideal, but we're going to get it done regardless of what we have to do. But it's like one of those things that while because now at the time now our gym had done its grand opening. We did our grand opening on September 30th, so we were open already for a month now. And outside of just having that new stress added to the life of like having a gym and being in the early stages of opening a gym, it was just one of those things that I was like, all right, it's time to take care of this part now because it's part of what we got to do. So we clocked in November 1st. We weighed in at right around 70 kilos, and we started our trek down to 59.
well, so Marcellus said at one point he had a conversation with you, and he's like, "Do you want to go 66 or do we do 59?" And
Correct.
when you heard that, was there any doubt in your mind which way you were rocking and rolling?
No, there wasn't any doubt. No, I knew I definitely, without a doubt, I have unfinished business at 59. I look forward to hopefully sharing the platform with Fedo and everything. So that was like it was in the back of my mind. It's always been like I have things to do that I want to accomplish. But when we had that conversation with Marcellus and Steve, and they kind of put it out there, because what kind of led to that, I don't know if Marcellus touched on it, is I took this just like for curiosity's sake. I took this body spec scan to just at the beginning of prep, like this is the first time in a while, because when I started powerlifting, I was in the 78 kilos or so. Like, for Americans, it's about 172 pounds. So I knew that it's not the heaviest I've been, but it's been the heaviest I've been in a long time since starting powerlifting and competing at 59. So for the curiosity's sake, I was like, I'm gonna take this little scan to just see what changes my body goes through when I put my body through this cut that I'm going to do. So then I take that scan, and the biggest thing that Marcellus and Steve were kind of like eye-opening is my lean muscle mass clocked in at 126.6 pounds. And while that, yeah, and while that's something that, like, you know, there's your bone mass, there's water, there's this and that. At the end of the day, 126.6, and I'm trying to cut down to 130. It doesn't leave a lot of room for me to have.
Dude, dude, you're gonna be dies, but
Exactly.
maybe near death as well. Like that is
Exactly.
crazy.
So that was the big concern for them, is like, what percentage body fat are you going to be at when this is all said and done? How much muscle tissue now do we have to take away, and do we even have time to take away muscle tissue? Like one of the things Steve did, my coach that does my programming, bro, bicep curls, tricep extensions, anything that wasn't a direct accessories to complement the squat, bench, and deadlift, gone. I stopped doing, like, my accessories got cut like half, if not more. I was doing maybe 2 to 3 accessories for my bench on the session, and then for squat I was simply doing belt squat and 45-degree hyper. Everything else was gone because we needed to, like, stop either, because they know on a cut you're either going to maintain as much muscle tissue, or you're going to lose it when you go on a cut. So our goal was to lose. We literally were at that point where we're like, we have to, in the time that we have, hopefully lose muscle tissue.
That's crazy to think,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So then that's when we had that conversation, and they told me, hey man, it was just more Marcellus and Steve looking at the big picture, and seeing that, hey man, you're a family man, you have a son, like we have to look at the big picture and make sure that you're healthy, and you know, you don't, something bad doesn't happen through this cut. And I took it all in, but in the back of my mind I was like, I definitely appreciate it. This is why I have you guys in my corner, but I got unfinished business, so I got right back to work. I knew what I had to do, and you know, we got it done.
So a couple questions. So in terms of how much accessories do you normally do? Quite a bit?
So, yeah, no. So like, for context, I'll just tell you, like right now that we're able to add stuff back in on my secondary day for bench. Let's see here. I'm rocking with 1, 2, 3, 4 on my secondary day, and then wait, hold on. No, this is the hold on. Taking care of business. That's the name of
So
it.
you do a lot of accessories.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I got 6 on my secondary day for bench, and then in addition on my primary, I got another 3.
So you do accessories, man. You
Correct.
do quite a bit of accessories.
Correct. Yeah. So
Wow.
that all it was gone. I did not have room, or we just couldn't risk continuing to push the accessories and then maintain more muscle tissue than I ended up maintaining. Because then fast forward, I took the same exact scan 1 week out from nationals, and I clocked in at 10% body fat, and I dropped, it was 7.2 pounds of lean muscle tissue, and I had 14 pounds of fat on the frame by the time I was getting ready to manipulate the last little portion of the weight.
And was there a fear? I want to get into the calories too, because you must
Go ahead,
not
go
eat
ahead.
much.
Yeah.
But was there a fear that dropping that kind of muscle
Mm-hmm.
will impact your overall strength? Because you needed to be stronger than ever to hit some of the goals you want.
For sure. And yes and no, because while I have been through the cut before, I knew as long as I was at a certain body weight and I was hitting certain numbers, I knew that mentally I wasn't going to be interrupted. So I knew that I had just had to stay consistent and stay out of my own head, and not feel like, oh, the weight feels heavy on my back, or I'm losing this much weight, my strength is going to be gone. I have to leave those thoughts out of my mind, because the second I let those thoughts in, that's when you really start turning an RP 8 into a 10 when it shouldn't be. So while the thought was there, especially after I had that conversation with my coaches, it was one of those things that you have to keep those thoughts out. just because if you let those in, everything changes. And
Mm.
that's where I think a lot of people go wrong when they do cuts, is they automatically think cutting weight, and they they go into 2 weeks later after losing a kilo, and they lift off one red on bench and it doesn't feel the same anymore, and the cut's getting to me. And you can't let that enter in, because the second you do, that's going to start winning, and then it starts snowballing into squat, into deadlift, and so on and so forth. So I just kept those thoughts out. I just looked at the program, and I just kept telling myself, which is kind of it's just a normal for me, is oh, I got 210 for reps on squat. I've done it before. Let's do it again.
And for you, how many calories are you down to?
So
Marcelo's told me it was small.
yeah, for prep for nationals, I was at 1450.
And how much are you normally at?
Now going into for World's prep, we're going to be at 1680. He just sent me my new sheet, and I'm gonna be at 1680 now.
Okay, so you dropped about 200 calories a day, roughly?
Yes, and for context, when I was in prep for Worlds and nationals last year, my body was used to around 1630.
Okay.
Yeah. So because I have a desk job, I've never had like the most calories, or that I've always eaten like, I'd be talking to like Jessica and Heather, and they're talking about eating 2200 calories. I'm
Yeah.
like, how?
Dude,
I'd
it's
be so
crazy.
fat.
Dude, I seen Jess just post that. And she's
Yeah,
dropping weight. I'm like, you
dude.
must have like a tapeworm or something. How are you eating this much and you're so small?
Dude, it blows my mind, and I just be like, how? I don't get it. Like I was at the point that I was talking to Marcel. It's like, man, like I'm trying to, maybe after Worlds we can really like experiment, and maybe if I add, like if I'm consistent with like 10,000 steps or something a day,
Mm.
then I can push my calories up into the 2000s. Because with me having a desk job, I'm really sitting down for the majority of my day. So I totally get that. But then when I'm in here, like for nationals prep, and I was doing 45 minutes of cardio on the incline treadmill, and I'm getting all these steps in and sweating, and then I'm stepping on the scale, and I'm on a huge deficit, and I'm still only losing a pound a week, which that's kind of like my goal is to lose no more than a pound a week, because that's what sort of really helps not just tank your strength as well.
Mm.
Um, but at the end of the day, I'm like, good God, I'm on this huge deficit. I'm doing upwards. I think at my peak, I was doing daily, like I was doing 6 cardio sessions a week.
Oh,
So one a day for 6 days, and it would range anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And depending on how my settings were always the same, and I never tracked it on like a watch or nothing like that. I just used like the treadmill calorie tracker, because it was consistent. If I do my max incline at speed 3.2, the calories were going to be the same. Is that 100% accurate? Probably not, but at least it gave me something to be consistent with.
right.
Right. So then there were times where 32 minutes to an hour, it would be anywhere from 600 to 1,000 calories on the day that I was also putting myself in a deficit. And then I was like, God damn, the scale's not moving. And I'm just like, good God,
That's
how,
so discouraging.
dude. And then again, it's like, and then Jessica and Heather will post this thing, and I'm just like,
You gotta block them. You're like, I'm
I'm like,
sorry. I'm getting tired of seeing this.
right? I tell you, whenever I be following people and everything, and then I be seeing food posts. When I'm like 2 weeks out, I be messaging blocked. Like,
You're an asshole. I hope you
I don't need
fucking like
this.
your hamburger. Go fuck yourself, though. I don't want to
Dude,
see this.
you're supposed to know.
Oh, it's the toughest, man. Some
Yeah,
people get it easy, man. And then you
for
got some
sure.
people like Jurens, who's an 83. He's eating as much as freaking Jess, who's like literally half his size.
Yeah,
It's crazy people's metabolisms. But a huge thing is 10,000 steps a day it'll increase how much you can eat. You just got to find 10,000 steps a day, time for that.
right.
But
And
if you can,
and that was like the balance that we had to find, is how much cardio can we push, and when can, so like it would always be like I would always do a lot of my heavy cardio early in the week, and then towards the end I would taper it off so what my primary squat wasn't affected.
Yeah.
And that was always like the balance of making sure that all the cardio that I was doing wasn't affecting the lifts, and thank goodness it really didn't, and we were able to just continue, and we did the cut, and we were able to PR overall when it was all said and done. But man, it was brutal. It was
Yeah.
brutal.
I mean, was there times when doing it, because there's one thing to make weight, it's
Yep.
another thing to make weight and retain strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dicey proposition, man. It gets
Right.
tough. Was there times when you're on the way down and like it was super frustrating, coming off slow, you're doing all this work, where you started second guessing, like, I don't know, man, maybe I'm a 66, or I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I'm going to hit the target I want on PA Nats. Maybe I hit it at Worlds, maybe I don't hit it at PA Nats.
Uh, so it was one of those things where like we knew that, I mean, we didn't make any final decisions or anything until the roster closed, because anything can happen, anybody can sign up. But you know, I looked at it once a week, Steve looked at it, and we knew that going into the meet there wasn't going to be anybody that was a direct threat to us with respect to the rest of the 59s. But so we knew that if push comes to shove and we have to do the bare minimum to go through, then that will be the case. And then going into worlds, we'll increase the calories, and then we'll be like kind of back on a normal schedule, I guess you can say. But it never dawned on me, or it never crossed my mind. It's like, oh man, maybe it's time to go up. Maybe I overdid it this time around. It was one of those things that I signed up for Nats when the signups became available. I signed up at 59, and I was gonna weigh in at 59. There was no doubt about it. So
You've been connected to a weight class like few people get connected to a weight class, though. Like
yeah.
some people get connected to rivalries that like
Mm-hmm.
they can move up, they can move down, they could whatever.
Yeah.
It's weird how we all get connected. You have been connected to the 59s. It has
Correct.
been said like this is the guy who's going to bring popularity to the 59s, make us care about the 59s. And everything that you would be the guy to bring the 59s to Sheffield. You'd be the
Right.
guy to bring the 59s the first big showdown of the weight class.
Yeah.
You're different. You stand out. I was talking about it with Marcellus on that podcast, but you have like charisma. You got an amazing background story.
Mm-hmm.
You're phenomenal at telling your own story and telling stories, period. You're good on podcasts. You could do this. So the 59 class could use you, you know?
Yeah.
It's good to have people like you in different weight classes. So
It-
that's why it'd be like, whoa,
yeah.
59s, just when they started getting one. If you
Yeah.
left at this point in time, if you left right when people starting to believe, that would be tough for the other 59. All the other 59s in the world, it helps having you around. Put it that way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, so I'm glad you're going 59.
Yes.
Um, So let's talk about PA Nets. Then we'll talk about Worlds, the future, etc.
Yep.
Going into this, was it like when did you decide we're doing the Sheffield qualifier? Sheffield qualifier 636.5, so you needed to go over that.
Correct.
At what point were you like, no, I'm going to be able to do this?
It was, I mean, believe it or like again, I think it was that, whether it's the delusion or self-belief, because I mean, at the end of the day, when we're trying to do, as athletes, when we're trying to do something that it hasn't been done, or people don't believe that it can be done, you have to have a little bit of delusion within yourself that you believe that you can do it, right? And it was my second block out where I had the potential on that block to go in the neighborhood of 658 kilo total, training total. And
I'm
I
sorry,
just
658?
yeah. So yeah. So and I don't care about hiding my training, because it is what it is. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do my thing. And if you can catch up, catch up. If not, prepare for second, like I said.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah. So we did that, and we came close to it. And I say that because I did, that was the post that I posted when I did a 415 kilos for a set of four. And then afterwards, the post that it wasn't that I didn't post, I might post later, was I had a fatigue single after that 215, a 230 squat single. And I got very close. It was one of those that if I would have loaded 500 even, like that 2.5 kilos probably would have made the difference of it going up or not. So I felt really confident, despite failing the 507 230 single squat or fatigue single. I knew that had I not just done 215 for 4, this would have gotten blown out of the water. So with that, had I hit that single with everything else that I did during the training week, I would have clocked in at 658.5 kilo total, I believe. So that right there just gave me the confidence. All right, well, I know that Sheffield QT is definitely possible. And then I started what was next for me, actually, what kind of made hitting that total at nationals, I guess you can say, a little bit easier, was I started thinking about, well, what does 11 times body weight look like as a 59, and becoming what if somebody hears this and it's incorrect, becoming the third American to do it, to do 11 times body weight. Well, it's 649 and a half, 649 kilos, assuming that I weigh in exactly at 59. If I weighed in any lower, which I did, then that total comes down. So that was the next thing. Like when I had that potential, which then that training total for the week ended up being 645 and a half. But again, had I hit that squat, it would have been 658. And I knew without a shadow of a doubt, had I not hit that set of 4 that was RP 10, my body was gassed. I knew that 230 would have been there. So then I messaged Steve like that night after I send him my videos. I was like, hey man, I just want to put it out there. I know we the main goal is to go to Worlds, secure our spot, get back to training. But what do you think about trying to do 11 times body weight? And then he started crunching the numbers, and Steve is he's a numbers guy, and he'll create the roadmap. Well, if we do this, then it's possible. So why not? So that then became the true goal. Like outside of winning, then I wanted to do 11 times body weight, be the third American to do it. And really, because with my mission of really trying to show that, hey man, the 59s are exciting. Look at what we're doing. And that was the big goal, to be able to punch our ticket to World and just come in with this attitude. Hey man, we can do this. Look at what I just did. So then that was actually the goal. So then when PA Nats came around, it kind of happened on the day. It was unfortunate. The things weren't going the way that I kind of planned for myself. Specifically, my second attempt squat was what kind of veered things away. It's for the first time I that this happened. I took the weight, and in the bottom of the squat, my legs felt a little shaky, but it moved good. So I was like, all right, well, we're good. So I told that to Matt Gary, and I was just like, you know what? It's everybody wants to do something until the day presents itself, and then it comes down to what your body's going to give you on the day. So then
Right.
we decided to take the more conservative route, which the 490 squat was literally the conservative route. So you can imagine what the top end, what our top end, projected number was. And that was the conservative route, and I did it, and without a shadow of a doubt, I didn't change anything. I don't know if it was more of like an adrenaline rush that I had on the third squat, or I was more locked in and talking to myself like, hey, this is it, you got to show up, whatever it is. But when I did that third squat, without a doubt, the projected number that we wanted to hit, which was the PA national American record of 497 to 500, was the plan to take on my third. And without a doubt, after watching the third back many times, it would have been there. And then it would have been a more of a grinder. I'd probably look like my world's third versus what it looked like, and that would have set us up to be able to hit the 11 times body weight. But when we had to settle for the lower end, it was like, okay, well, plan B, let's just secure the Sheffield QT and make a statement that, hey, we're not missing twice, we're capable of doing it, and here it is.
Like for me as the commentator,
Yeah.
I was unaware of the 11 times body weight goal, and I the whole time was eyeing that Sheffield qualifier.
Yeah.
And so I built you up regardless. And
Yeah.
people knew on the stream in preview shows, I think we talked about it, that, I mean, your goal to get to Sheffield, if you go to Sheffield, they have a Road to Sheffield series where they talk about every lifter's story and whatnot. This is what you need. This is
Hmm.
what, like, and you've seen what people's following does after Sheffield,
Yeah.
and what it does to the weight class, to the lifters. It's massive. So for
Yes.
you to just not only win worlds but get that Sheffield qualifier changes the game for yourself, for the 59s, and God knows what. So
Correct.
that's where we knew, like, for me, it was like, man, if you could hit this is the demon that's hanging over your head. You hit
100.
this here, it sets you up for Lithuania. Now you know, like, yes, I am strong enough.
Yes.
Yes, I can do this.
100%. And it was, I mean, I don't know if this is for everybody, but for me, like I said earlier, it's like once I hit a number, whether it's in training, I don't care to me if I hit this number, if I'm at 70 kilos or if I hit the number when I'm at 61, when I'm 1 week out, right? If I've hit a number in training, I don't care what the circumstances are. If I've trained to load that on the bar, in my mind, there's no reason I shouldn't hit the weight again. My body's done this before. Let's do it
Right.
again. Right. So that to me, being able to put up 638 on the platform with the judges. I think I ended up with 26 white lights. And I got one red, which I think it would have been for soft knees on my third. That's the only thing that I can see possibly. So 26 white lights. It gives me like the absolute confidence that going into Worlds, I've been there before. I know what I got to do to prepare for Worlds. So, going over to Lithuania, it's not going to be much different than going to Malta. So I'm going to arrive early. I'm going to take care of business. And I've done it before. So that's my mindset. Like I already did this. All I have to do, bare minimum now, going into it, it's easier because bare minimum, all I have to do I'm going to train here for the next 12 weeks, and bare minimum, I'm going to match what I did at PA Nats. That's my bare minimum, but we all know that's not going to be the case.
Let's replay your
Let's do it.
last deadlift now. Let's watch this together.
Ah.
Dog, this is pretty good stuff here. Let me pull this up and get the sound. Carpio, 267.5. This would give him 638. He has the title locked up, his ticket to Worlds. This would be the total he would need at Worlds to clinch a Sheffield invite.
He missed this at last year's Worlds. He's taking revenge on it here. Showing to the world that he can hit this total. He can make it to Sheffield.
He's on a quest to popularize the 59s, bringing the division to Sheffield. Oh!
It's a fight! It's a big fight!
Oh, it looks like he's locked it out! Redemption for Wascar Carpio, 638! And you can see the writing on the wall now for Lithuania. The dream of Sheffield getting a little bit closer, not just for Wascar, not just for his fans, but all the 59s. What a finish.
He was getting emotional there.
Look at that moment, dog.
Dude, I replayed in my head.
For Wascar Carpio.
He slays those demons and puts them to rest.
Yes.
Slays those demons and puts the rest. Dude, what a freaking moment that was. I mean, it was magical, man. It was, even if there was no one else competing like neck and neck with you, the fact you loaded up and the way we set it up, commentators, we're going to do a damn job. We know the storylines. This is the number. This is the pull he missed. This is what he's got to hit. It's all come down to this one more time. And you did your job, dude, and you slayed it. How did you feel when you did that?
Dude, it was like those, like after I put the deadlift down and I scream, and that it wasn't for show. It wasn't me trying to hype up, and it was truly those were my emotions there, dude. I knew when Matt Gary told me back there, because the third call was either going to be 638 or that final deadlift, 267.5, or because we had the American record in play for PA, we could have loaded for 640 total. But Matt, being who he is, he was like, "Hey man, we ain't got nothing to prove here. Let's just get that Sheffield QT, lock it in. That way you have that confidence going into Worlds." And I was like, "Hey, I'm a student to the game." So I said, "Load it. Let's just go for it." Because what, best case scenario, it moves amazing. We leave room in the tank for Worlds, or it was the perfect call on the day. Which, in my opinion, it was the perfect call on the day.
Dog, that was work. That was work. Like when it was coming up, I remember, and you can see it there. It was like, holy fuck, Wascar, lock this out, buddy. Like it was work. You know, because you had a hell of a prep. Like you said, this wasn't the ideal. You're piecing it together like, hopefully we're all here today. Let's see. And everyone knew what it meant, and you slayed that demon. Now you can put that to rest.
Dude, and go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say, just as like someone who's followed you through this, everybody wanted you. And when I was saying on the commentary, it's not just for you, it's not just your fans, it's for all the 59s.
Yes.
Everybody knows. Go to Sheffield, win Worlds, win the showdown, do this. Help us. You could do this. You have the capability, but you needed this as a stepping stone before Lithuania. Like you said, now under very adverse circumstances of crazy weight cut, things not going ideal, I still hit it.
Yes.
Now we're a little more even keel, walking into Worlds, and you've done trips, you've flown and cut weight, you've done it all.
Mm-hmm.
You got this. You can do this. But it's important to achieve these moments. And for your family to be there and greet you on the sidelines and everything, dog.
Dude, it was like, and that's why, to finish up here, it's like that scream, that like, where's my family at? Like that was just pure. It was because I missed it at Worlds. My wife watched me be watching Sheffield. I was just, how many times I've told her, "Oh, but honey, I wish, bro." Countless times. And she's like, "It's all right, honey. You're gonna get it next time." And then when I walked up to that third deadlift, it's like, don't miss twice. Don't miss twice.
Imagine what that would have done. Like psychologically.
Yeah.
Because you have to go to Lithuania. It's happening. You're going.
Yep.
It could work either way. If you swing for it and hit, the confidence you have is like, all right, we're good. Yeah. You swing for it and miss 2 in a row now, it's like, break. Mm-hmm. It works the opposite. It creates a little bit of doubt in the back of the mind, and you're bold enough to swing for it. You don't have to at PA Nats. Be like, no, we're going to swing. Yes. We're going to swing. Load it up. Throw it down the middle. I'm going out I'm going to swing and hit at the park or fall on my face. We're swinging. That's what makes it so like, are you sure we could dodge it? We could ask for a different ball. Mm-hmm. We don't have to. And then we could hit lower and be like, we would have got it.
Yep.
And use that. That's what people say. It would have been there on the day. You could say that and allow yourself an out. So you don't have to make the call to see those cards if you're unsure. But you were like, that's not how we play, though, huh?
Nah.
We're going.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like one of those things. Like Russ said this. He said, pressure is a privilege, and now going into Lithuania, like people know that I'm capable. I know I'm capable. Everybody around me knows I'm capable. Now I have to do it again. And that pressure, people watching, can he do it? Can he make it happen? You're gonna have to tune in. You're gonna have to.
I am going. So let's double back before we look at this Worlds. Let's double back to the last Worlds. Yep. How was it like? Like, because this is all behind you now, and you're eyeing Lithuania, but Malta. It's bittersweet because you won the world title. Correct. And that's got to be nice. And in the 59s, and you still did popularize the 59s. Your appearances and everything you said, there were so many people that reached out and were like, fucking, I'm rooting for Wascar. I remember, I don't know if you've seen, I don't know if Tina Tornado tagged you as well, but she tagged me, but she was like, excuse me, I'm just bench pressing. She throws on King of List when she works out from time to time. She's like, Next episode was Wascar. I had no idea his background, and she was like, "Holy shit!" She
Yeah, yeah.
like she made a post. She was like, "Excuse me, wow, is that a story?" And me and you went deep. Remember, we started talking about Bobby Shez and the whole nine. We went deep on that episode, and there was a lot of people who were like, "Wow, okay, had no idea. Thank you very much." So you going into Malta, there's a lot of people backing you. A lot of people already cared. Winning was a big deal, and everyone already knew. So you're used to pressure.
Yeah.
When you missed that last deadlift, what was it like? Were you if you revisit those moments?
It was that like pit in your stomach, like, damn. What and it took for me, for context. I devote a lot of time to powerlifting, even though it's some of us look at it as a hobby. We started as a hobby, but it was from high school. There was a lot of things that I left with what ifs when it comes to my sporting career in high school. So many unanswered questions. What if I would have done this? What if I would have been better with this extra training here, whatever. So when I started powerlifting, I told myself, if I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna step on the platform or leave the platform with any what ifs or unanswered questions. That's why I am the way I am when it comes to diet. If I have to diet, this past prep, I did it for 19 weeks. If I have to do it for a whole year, I got to do it, because I'm not leaving that prep, that competition with any unanswered questions, right? So when I missed on that third pull, it took me back to those days of like, what if I would have got it, and like, what if I would have done this differently? What if I would have arrived one day early? What if I would have taken my time on the setup? What if so many what ifs, like, all were playing through my head as I'm walking to Coach Arian, and he pats me on the back. I put my head down and I'm just like, God damn it, what if? And that was the constant replay of whenever I would, because then I got the opportunity to load that weight in training and stepping up to the bar. What if I would have hit this weight that I just did in Malta? I wouldn't have to be watching Sheffield on my phone. I would have been part of that roster. What if? And that's what it was, man. When I dropped it, like, I knew going into that lift, I'm already the world champion, which I'm extremely grateful for. It's a feat that nobody can take away, and I'm very grateful to be able to call myself that. But when that felt, anybody who powerlifts, you know that feeling when that bar starts to roll in your hand, and right away you're just telling yourself, come on, just hold on a little bit longer, keep pulling, and then boom, it's gone, and you're like, so as I walk up to the bar, to kind of paint the picture, I'm telling myself, is like, let's do this, like, this is it, like, you know what you're capable of. You just have this one lift in front of you, and I truly believe in my heart, without a shadow of a doubt, and had I not rushed the lift and set my grip correctly, that lift would have went up. And it's one of those things that, the what if I would have set my grip correctly, bro. I tell you, I did not miss the lift in training, a
Yeah.
deadlift due to grip. I tell you that much. Well, let alone, I didn't miss a deadlift in training to specify, but if I would have missed, it wouldn't have been on grip. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. You be
So,
walking in the park and your wife is like, "Yo, you're holding my hand like a fucking hammer. Take it easy, bro." You're like, all year. You're like, "I ain't missing no grip. My grip strength is," you know.
uh, yeah. So that was the biggest thing. Of After I missed, I just started thinking about my past in sports, my present, my future, of this what if. And that's why when I was walking up to that third deadlift at PA Nats, I just, don't miss twice. Don't leave this platform with more unanswered questions. And it was a very, very good feeling to put the seal on that.
Those unanswered questions can pile up on you.
Dude.
They can start to pile up on you. And I mean, you could overcome it, but it's to be able to nip it in the bud and face it before it gets
Yeah.
too big. It's
Mm-hmm.
huge. And
Yes.
and overall, maybe it's better this way. Maybe it wasn't your time for that particular Sheffield. Maybe
Right.
this Sheffield's the one that maybe this Worlds is the one, and maybe it's better, and maybe it's better if Fedo comes. And
Hmm.
it's better to have the clash. It's better for all of that. I don't know. Before we get to that, even when you watch Sheffield, what were you thinking? Besides, like obviously you wanted to be there, but is it like the pinnacle? Can you watch it without separating? You're too close, and you're like, I can't. Is it difficult to watch it without separating yourself?
No, Sheffield is a meet that I can watch. It's very entertaining. I watched the whole entire thing through and through. And it's just it's a meet that is exciting to watch. You're always on your toes because you have no idea what somebody's gonna load next. The attempt selection can go from, somebody opening up without, and us as viewers, oh man, they're probably not gonna go for that world record today. And then you have Gavin loading up on his second, and then it starts this like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm witnessing this, and or you have the upsets. And man, Sheffield, it is an amazing meet to watch live, and it just shows with how much viewerships it gets, and it's just a meet that it's amazing to watch. So despite me not being there, I watched the whole thing through and through.
And were you telling yourself, like obviously you're planning on being there? This is a
Yeah.
temporary situation. You
Mhm.
got an opportunity to correct it.
Correct.
Very few people in life have this to be able to go back and correct something. You do.
Hmm.
This is
Yes.
well within your grasp. You picture yourself at Sheffield.
Yes.
Yeah.
I there's without a doubt, there is there's no there's no part of my story in powerlifting that a chapter of it is not me at Sheffield. There's no other way that I see it. Part of one of my chapters in my powerlifting career will be me prepping for Sheffield and doing something special at that stage, without a doubt.
You are not only linked to the 59s, but your quest to popularize the 59s is linked to Sheffield.
Yes.
And it's almost like powerlifting's rooting for you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, it's
And it's also one of the things that, while it might not be this Sheffield, that the 2025, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna speak like I plan to be there. So it might not be this one that I'll be competing in it, and I might not be, in the top placings unless people miss, right? But best believe that when people look at the roster in the future, because Sheffield's going to come around year after year, and other records keep getting pushed, eventually, after counting me out, after counting the 59s out, we will surprise them. It's just a matter of when. It's not if, it's a matter of when, because there's only going to be other classes, they're in a position right now to push that record and do something, Austin Perkins, Rondell, Russ, so on and so forth. But it's gonna come to a point, just like when Pete said that when he created the meet, and the ability to win is how much can you break the world record by. Eventually, like this past one, Gustav and Kaiko, I believe, were the only ones that went over that 100% barrier. Just know
right.
that eventually the other classes will get to that point as well. That they pushed it in previous years, but I'm gonna be the one that's gonna step up, and it's gonna be my time to push mine.
Timing is everything, my man.
Timing will be everything, without a doubt, and I do believe in my time I will have a shot at winning Sheffield.
That would be absolutely, that's the biggest. That's the biggest of the big. You rack up your world's wins, world games.
Yep.
And you know the irony here. At World Games, they combine the weight classes.
Correct.
So the lightweight men's is the 59s and 66s.
Mm-hmm.
The irony would be also, not only were a lot of people comparing you're doing to the 59s what Penna helped do to the 66s, you'll be in the lightweight World Games against Penna if you guys both end up there.
Correct.
That's just another opportunity. Oh my God, man. I mean, we're going to get ahead of ourselves, dog, but this is what we like to do, huh? But this is, it helps, man. All the way to China. That one's in China 2025.
Yeah, and looking at that's is that September, right? September 2025?
I believe so.
September 2025. Worlds would be in June. Yeah.
It can,
There's
yeah,
there's
man. It's
there's some things.
the word you're on the pathway. The
Yeah,
first phase of this path is PA Nats. Then you got
correct.
Worlds, then you got Sheffield, then you got World Games, and it's just like all from there. Now let's talk about Worlds now.
Yep.
How much is it? How important is it to you about Fedoshenko? Is it because he may or may not? We're hoping it's
Mm-hmm.
looking good,
Mm-hmm.
but if he doesn't, how do you feel about it?
If he's not there, of course there's gonna be that I'm always gonna have something to push myself. And if he's not there, it's gonna be Sheffield. If he's there, it's gonna be him. If he's there, my main focus is win and beat him. I can't. He's a veteran in the sport. He's been there. I mean, probably as old as I am. He's been powerlifting.
Right.
So he's not somebody that you go into worlds and have second side quests. You have to focus on him. So that's going to be the thing. You know, nominations will come around. They'll close. We'll see. If he's there, he is going to be the main focus. He will lose.
Oh God, it's just that shivers again, dog.
You know, after I listened to the GOAT podcast that you guys put out, and you know, Matt was talking about him, and you know, give him his flowers. He has 11 world titles. Like Matt said, when you look at his open powerlifting, it's all ones. He's gonna have a two, and it's gonna be me. Yeah.
Dog, it would be amazing. First off, for Fedo to come back and have a major showdown like that in the 59s. We need it. We need it. And
Correct.
we need a guy like you.
Yes, dude. And that's the thing. He's always had with respect to every other 59. It's just one of those things that when he was there, when I'm here, we're just simply ahead right now. And he's always had kind of he's shown up and he knows exactly what he has to hit, and he goes home. It's just what it is. And that's why the 59 viewership when he was in during his time, there was nobody watched it because they knew Fedoshenko was going to show up. He's going to win by 100 kilos, and then he's going to go home, and that's that. But if I'm there, he can't do that. He has to hit lifts. He's going to have a good attempt selection, because it's one of those things where I'm young in the sport. He's on the back end of his career. And while my total's rising, with respect to him, his total hasn't really increased since. So he's hovering in that like 635 to 650 range for his past few meets. Well, and then with the open powerlifting, he I know he's competed since, but his last recorded meet is in 2019. So I really don't know where he's at currently, but based on data, he's hovering between that ballpark. And for me, I'm increasing my total from meet to meet. Whether like this past meet, I added 13.5 kilos, and the past has been, I went from I was 595 to 613, 613, 625, and I'm increasing. I'm closing in that gap, and I do believe when it comes time to worlds, he's gonna have to be perfect, because I'm gonna be perfect.
And it's always nice to have a true passing of the torch, if possible.
Yes, yes.
Where you show down in the old king and the fast rising king, they clash.
Yes.
And they clash, and you pass the torch appropriately on the platform. That's
Yes.
what people want to see. And he's legit, without a doubt. He is as dominant as they come.
100%.
Good. That's a good thing. And we need a showdown.
Yes, it's gonna make it that much, because when you look at powerlifting, I think outside of maybe Bonica, he has the most gold medals in any weight class, I believe. So beating somebody like him and really putting a stamp on, like, I'm here. It's my time now to take over this class. It's gonna be truly special, because he's no joke. He is who he is, and he's been a dominant champion year after year since Worlds went raw. I think he's been a champion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only been him and you.
Yep.
Him and you this whole time. What do you feel like the rest of the 59s?
Yeah.
We need some guys to catch up. You seem like you're pretty far ahead, though.
Mm-hmm.
Are there people around to threaten you, or is it you, Sheffield, and Fedo?
As right now, it's me, Sheffield, and Fedo. With that being said, I don't doubt that it's a matter of time before a next one shows up, because it was one of those things last year when going into PA Nats, a 59 hitting 613.5 was a big ask, because at the time only 3 other people had done it. And between then and now, when you look at open powerlifting, now there's like 10 of us that's done it,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah, right. So it's amazing to see. There's a lot more younger, hungry lifters that are joining powerlifting, and some of these guys are able to go into the class and not have to cut any weight because they're just younger. And as we can see in powerlifting, it's a young men's sport. The earlier you get in, the you can progress, and I just think it's a matter of time before other people start pushing into further into that 600. And I'm not taking it lightly. Like I'm ahead right now, but I don't doubt that in the future it might not always be that way.
Yeah, people pop up out of nowhere when it comes to
Sure.
powerlifting.
I mean, I guess you can say I came out of nowhere.
That's right.
You
I
know?
was about to say, like, it happens quick. And the
Yeah.
world is a big place.
Yes.
There's so many nations, and they're guys who are closer than we think, but they're not in a nation where social media is big. And they just
Yeah.
pop up. And it's kind of like, oh, how you like me now type situation.
Yeah.
Look at Rondell Hunt's coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. You
Yeah.
got people coming out of everywhere. You can't sleep. You
Yeah.
know, they'll catch up to you. So yeah, you got the right attitude. You got to keep moving and be ready for whoever might show up.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's Worlds, there's Sheffield, and there's World Games. Perk was talking about
Yep.
if he wins Worlds, goes to Sheffield, he's going to try to, mop up and take Sheffield as best he can.
Mm-hmm.
Shell is going to be a problem from Norway. He keeps bumping up that world record on Perk, and Perk is like, my man, slow down. Okay, take it easy. You're making it harder and harder. It was
just
790. And in
yep.
6 months, Shell has bumped it 25 kilos. 25 kilos. And Perk is like, dude, relax. Like, like
I was listening to it, and in my mind, Perk should be like, "Hey, man, let's make a business deal here."
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
take a
He's like,
chill.
let's talk money.
Let's
Fuck
talk.
off. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy you a car. What do you do? 25 kilos in like 4 months. It's like, doggy, relax.
Oh
Man.
gosh.
But yeah, that's got to be raising Perk's blood pressure. He's probably like, look at man, I enjoy watching you lift, but you're really hitting my bank account right now. But yeah, and Shell is all like, yeah, I bumped it up further. There's another 15 kilos. It's like 15 more.
Oh,
What?
and he bumped it up with room to spare too, so I can only imagine what his plans are.
Dude, 25, like the difference between, I think Euros was either December or November. The difference between coming into November, coming into the wintertime, where it's like Perk all day. Perk is gonna take that record and go to March, the other side of the winter, 25 kilo spread on Perk's advantage. Everybody like Russ is probably cheering for Shell, like, oh my God, go get him. You know what I mean? This is helping everybody else's situation for Sheffield. They're like, yes, thank God Shell came around. I am, you know what I mean?
Welcome back, King. Welcome back.
Like, welcome back, King. Welcome back. They're in his DMs. Shell's like, I've never been so popular. That's great. Wow. Welcome back, King. But it's because it's money. It's big money now.
Hey,
it's it's impacting everybody. But yeah, but where was I going with this now? Okay.
About World Games.
Okay, thank you, sir. So Perk was saying Worlds, Sheffield, and then in World Games, now we can start having these, like, because they're combining the weight classes. He has the showdown possibly with Russ, and it really bangs off so many, like, from a world champion to Sheffield, which is an amazing event, and then World Games. Why not have some fun? They're combining the weight classes anyways. And the way World Games works, they combine 2 weight classes and whoever has the most good lift points.
Yeah.
Well, Perk's like, why don't I come in a small 83?
Mm-hmm.
Showdown with Russ head to head.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just see who wins on overall total as well as a good lift points. We can do it however you want to do it. But it's a showdown that everyone's like, oh my God. I make a post about Perk versus Russ. Everybody's all excited about it. Like, yeah, that's a good showdown.
Yep.
Have you thought about your future? And if you're taking the same pathway and you're going to the World Championships and then Sheffield and then World Games, you only got to finish top 3. I mean, I cannot foresee a world where you aren't top 3 at World Championships. I don't care what happens. This would be like, so what is your ideas for World Games? Would you possibly entertain, maybe I do go 66 and we have a super showdown, world champion versus world champion? You don't got to stay there, but to popularize the 59s further, you know when you have those, like in boxing and UFC, they have those super showdowns where 2 world champions clash?
Yep.
A David and Goliath matchup, if your total's already in the late 600s as a 59, which it could, you go 66, you could start getting close to 700. And those guys are hitting around 700. You're right there. I don't know, dude. What are you thinking?
I think that which is it's unfortunate. I feel for the guy, but Daniel Clemens is out. He won't be at the World Games because the selection is at this year's Worlds. With him being out, and again, feel for the guy. Brian Lee is also out. Kyoto is also out.
Oh, you know what? I just saw Kyoto was a reserve.
Okay.
He's now on the actual roster. I don't know what happened.
Fair.
So Kyoto's back.
Kyoto's back. Okay, that's all right. But where I'm headed at is a lot of my big lifts that I have done in training have been within right below 66 or right above it. So it's I'm staying at 59 because I currently feel like I have unfinished business and there's goals that I want to achieve at 59. Without a doubt, Steve has told me this. If I go 66, 700 plus, it's not a matter of, it might be there. No, like those one training session when I did 220 kilos on squat for a triple, it was like an RP 8.5. That's me cutting. I'm cutting. And I think I hit that when I was around 143 pound body weight.
Oh, wow.
So my top end for when it comes to squat, if I got 15 pounds to play with, I'm squatting into the 5s.
Yeah.
But that without a doubt. My bench, when I hit the big bench in training that I hit 353, I was about 152 at the time, body weight. So that was kind of like towards my peak. But that was me, again, in the middle of doing my gym, all of this stuff. So I also, because my bench usually is the one that takes the biggest hit. And for me to go from 353 to at nationals at 59 doing 326, I do think also, moving up for that specific meet would fill that gap for me to be able to bench 160 plus. And then deadlifts would just have to just continue to that one would be the one because my leverages do change. Like I think my deadlift overall is like the strongest when I'm like 138 because my leverages are the same when I'm 59, but I'm not depleted. So without a doubt, I do think that that's something that would be in the cards. Because that would be something that not only will it be exciting for me, like it's a new challenge. Like I'm the guy that wants to challenge the next person up. And just like you said, UFC is like, oh, here we go. They're trying to go up to and collect 2 titles, whatever.
Right.
But yes, 100%. Already Steve has brought it up with me in the future going up to 66. So the World Games would be a perfect meet to kind of figure out like what's possible at this weight class, without a doubt.
Because you wouldn't risk your world title,
right?
You could go in. This is what makes World Games special. We can have, because Sheffield is based off of like the how much you could break the world record in your particular weight class. So it makes you kind of want to go into your particular weight class, obviously.
Right.
But World Games, when they're pushing these two weight classes together. Let's have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have some of these fun little showdowns where it's like, you know what? Maybe I come into your weight class, sir.
Yep.
It maybe that one quote, Alexis Jones, it takes two to tango.
Mm-hmm.
So let us dance.
Yes.
So let us dance. And whoever the world champ is, or it'll be more than the world champ too. Because conceivably, whoever wins the 66s, whether it's Jonathan Garcia, Pena, or whatever, the top 3 are going. You get to dance with like some of these dudes who are legends.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. And again, all the 59s and the people following the 59s will be like, go get them, man.
Yes.
You're like, you brought him to Sheffield, and now you're gonna go up a weight class and attack the big boys and be like, let's rock and roll. Let's see what happens. I like the love that you 66s got. Let me get some of that love. Let me see what. Yeah. Let me put my foot and invite myself to this party. And we got world champion versus world champion. God knows how many world champions are going to be involved, because there'll be guys who are like, if Pena comes in silver or bronze and he ends up going, he's a multiple time world champion. Whoever else is in the mix, like the resumes will be fantastic,
dude. Genuinely, it would be an amazing storyline for everybody. Because then you'll have the 66s looking at me like, who's this dude thinking that he can come up here and challenge us? And
yeah, I mean, and you have nothing to lose as the smaller man.
Yeah,
it's all in them. They're supposed to win. So you're like, I'm not even supposed to be here. You guys better watch it. If I go 700 plus, whoa, don't lose to me. You know what I mean? Don't let me take a medal off one of you boys, because that's not going to sit well. Yeah, man. It's and it's nice because it'll be after Worlds, not a lot after. So if you're gonna bulk, you got to bulk, but you sound like you could bulk pretty quick. With all due respect, this isn't a problem. It sounds like, so we're all good. But your title's safe. You're like, I'm all good. I don't have to lose a world championship. And if it feels really nice, you stay. If you're like, you could judge it when it happens. Because eventually, what do you think, like, if that's short term, you think long term, is it inevitable you end up 66?
Yes, I do think so. It's one of those things where there's no denying that what I do, it's nerfing my absolute potential. And when I went on that big off season with everything that I had going on, the fact that where I topped out was 70 kilos, I can probably be a safe 66 and not have to probably not even have to cut weight. My body will probably settle around that, like 65 and change to maybe 67 kilos. I'll probably settle right in there, because genuinely, and I'm not saying this just to say it, like with everything that I had going on, the fact that my body only settled at 70 kilos is actually pretty surprising to me, because there was no diet that I followed or calorie counting. I didn't open my Fitness Pal for months. And
you were this close to calling out Perk. You know what I'm saying? you pass Pena and go straight to Perk. Like, my man.
I want a two-way. So
I see you in real life. I'm like, Wascar? Is that you, dog? You're like DJ Khaled right now. What is going on here, man? What is Wascar? You're like, it's me, man.
For real, Ryan. So it actually, I do think that 66 in the future, it'll be a class that I can comfortably be able to eat normal, be able to have not have the stress of I got to be eating, my rice to the grain and I have to do cardio. Like, it would just be literally me training, eating, family. And I know when it's all said and done, that at 66, I'll be the most happy mentally, physically, everything. So
if you think about, like, you had to lose muscle mass. You're right.
Yeah.
I think your optimum, for you to see like your optimum output of what you can do, 66, man, you'll pack on the muscle mass. You don't have to strip it. You could smash all the assistants you want, eat all the food you want. If you get into the late 600s as a 59, for sure 700 and up as a 66, when you can actually, like, eat food, lift weights, and train how you want to train. Take
Right.
off all this ridiculous cardio. For sure, man. If you're already floating this far as a 59, 6 and 6 is going to be amazing for you. It's a complete Shark Tank. It is an absolute Shark Tank, but you'll be coming into it conceivably a multiple time world champion already, decorated, having done Sheffield the whole nine. I mean, what else are you going to do? Hang around the 59s to keep doing victory laps? Might as
Exactly.
well.
Exactly. It's one of those things where well, it's exciting and it's awesome. If I can come back year after year, win world titles, whatever. But eventually it's going to become the Fedosienko story. All right, well,
Right.
59. Well, all right. On the preview show, you're going to be like, all right, Wascar's got it. 66.
Yeah. You don't want that.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where it's as awesome as it would be as an athlete, as a competitor, it's like, and you're gonna have to have something to keep pushing you in training, because powerlifting is boring. We all know it. When you're in here training, those training sessions are just boring. You're
the
doing
training, it's
the
monotonous.
training, yeah. The training, you're doing the same movement over and over again, and then the only thing that changes is your rep ranges. So if you don't have a goal that's getting you into the gym and pushing you, it can get very hard to get into the gym. You can kind of see it with Taylor right now. He posts about it every once in a while, where he's like, man, I'm not a single ounce of me wants to go to training right now. But I guarantee you, if he was prepping for Worlds, he's not posting none of that.
It's natural to want to climb once you get to a mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
What now? You want to climb another mountain. You got it. You need another goal. And like, I love what you're doing in the 59s, etc. At a certain point, though, you have to be selfish and be like, look, it's not just me. You will do everything you can to build the division. It's got to build around you, though. So popularize it, get people involved, get a big showdown in it, take it to Sheffield, go to World Games, represent the 59 champ, and challenge the 66 kilo champ head up. Amazing. Super fight, super showdown at World Games, all help hype it. Obviously, it'll be amazing. But eventually, you would hope the 59s get thick enough, deep talent-wise, where it's like, you guys don't need me to be here every single year, hopefully. You guys can handle this. And you got to do what's best for you.
And to be honest, I mean, World Games, that could be my meet that I pass down the torch to the remaining 59s and let them,
because there'll be two more with you. Yeah, they take the podium.
Exactly. So we'll see. That is definitely something. I mean, I'm in the middle of listening to Perk's podcast, and I just had crossed over that portion where he was talking about, yeah, that seems like a good idea, because I mean, that is what a meet like that, like Sheffield is a meet where you have world champions go head to head on the same day. You never get to see that outside of Sheffield.
Right.
But then World Games, it could be that meet that happens every 4 years, that you can have somebody gamble that can go up and oh, dude, that's
this is the good thing. World Games is so special because it's once every 4 years, man. It's champion versus like, it's all the top end guys. Just like, let's mix you guys up, combine the weight classes, and let's have some super meets. Oof. I don't know, what did you think about like Perk versus Russ?
Dude, that is one that you'll have it on your calendar, like the little countdown on your phone.
Bro,
dude, just like thinking about that matchup, and because you have the two stories, of course. You have Perk trying to be that guy to out total the 83s, and then you have Russ, guy that has to cut weight, trying to gatekeep this guy and show him, hey man, stay in your lane. Oh my god.
In the beautiful thing, we'll have Sheffield, and Perk is gonna go like, Perk and Russ may or may not go all out at Worlds, depending on how they get pushed. Conceivably, no. But they're going to both go all out at Sheffield. Perk all out at Sheffield is going to try to get the biggest total possible and probably try to out total Russ as a 74. That'll be tough. But he hit 851 as a 75. Like, Perk is special. Russ is special too. But But at World Games is when Perk's like, you know what? Maybe I don't. Maybe I goes in 83 then, huh? I don't got to fill it out.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to fill it out. Maybe that's what he needs. Oh my God. You know, Russ is like, I'm not losing to you, little man.
Oh, and
You
and
know.
the best part, outside of them being both amazing athletes, is they both like to talk.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the build up. I 100% I can easily see this matchup potentially giving like John Jones and Cormier vibes.
Oh, dude, they're going to. Who's Cormier? But
Damn, Ryan.
you know, Russell be like, listen, man, I heard you got 70 kilo. Don't be calling you be easy with that Cormier shit. That DC shit. But I don't know, man. Yeah, it'll be both these guys have the ability to hype it. I know Russ hasn't responded yet. Perk went first.
Yeah.
I'll have Russ on the podcast. We'll see what he's saying. This is a little bit down the pipeline. Well, Sheffield isn't. We got Worlds. You know, they're both. No matter what happens, neither guy wants to get showed up. Russ has been around forever. He came in the game, massive showdowns with Brett Gibbs. He knows what it's all about. He just hasn't had it in a hot minute.
Yes.
He's a gamer. Russ is as game gets. He'll step up. I'm sure he wants it. He's just also like, man, I cannot lose to this little man. I cannot lose to a 74. I can't let it happen. It's tough because Russ at like 90 kilos it's stronger, but it's just these are the in between weight classes we got. It is what it is.
Correct. And for World Games, is it 2 weight classes that get combined or 3?
It's, you know what? Let me pull it up. Let me pull this up.
Because I thought it was 3. I thought it was the lightweights. It's 59, 66, 74.
Let's take a little look here. I could tell you that. So the 2022 World Games, I'll do more research in 1 sec. I know the 2022 World Games, men's lightweight was 59 and 66.
Okay.
Men's middleweight 74, 83. So those are the 2 showdowns we were talking about right there. Men's heavyweight 93 and 105. Men's super heavyweight 120, 120 plus. But let IPF World Games weight classes. Let me put 2025. Okay, established weight class categories for 2025 will be, here it is. Okay, it is. It's the same.
The same? Okay.
It's 59.66, perfect for you. 74.83, perfect for probably all of us. And the 93s and 105s is going to be tough. Like the 93s probably aren't having a super showdown versus the 105. Same with the 120, 120 plus. But
okay, that's okay. Because like the only thing that came to mind, if it ended up being the 3, what happens if Russ that goes up becomes a 93 and does it as a 93 at the World Game? But nah, he's gonna have to cut.
Well, so, I mean, I do wonder if he's allowed to go 93. He just won't be. He'll just move into the. If he goes 93, he's going to be the men's heavyweight 93 and 105s.
Right.
So he could say, look, I'm going to go 93. I'm going to go head up with whoever the 93 world champion is at that time. Whoever you are, ready or not, here I come. Maybe he does.
Yeah, maybe he's like the only thing that comes to mind with that is with World Games being in September of 25, he'll possibly have Sheffield, that's 1 cut, possibly Nationals, that let's maybe put that 2. Then June Worlds 2 to 3, World Games 3 to 4, and then to go Sheffield again. That's a lot of cutting for us.
Maybe he will want to go 93 for World Games.
Yeah, if he can, it wouldn't shock me if he's like, good God, I'm not making this cut again for a meet that I don't have to.
Damn. I don't want to see him perk. On the flip side,
yeah,
wouldn't be mad at him versus Gustav or Petrie or whoever is the champ at that point.
Exactly.
Wouldn't be mad at that at all either, though.
We'll see that, but I personally want to see Perk and Russ, without a doubt.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Rig. I don't know. I'm mad at any of these super showdowns though, but you're right. Who knows? We'll have to see. It depends, because I know eventually Russ is probably kind of like you. where he's probably eventually going to eyeball up a weight class up and just see what the hell happens.
But like for me, like that is a perfect scenario for me. Not only is it a perfect showdown, but it gives me a break. I don't have to make 59 for this one time, and I can just chill, do my thing, let training do its thing, show up 60 at 66, and if I decide, assuming I'm successful next Worlds and make Sheffield in 2026, and if I want to cut down to 59 for that Sheffield, then at least I have like a nice break. It'll be kind of like what I did in prep for PNS. Well, I did get heavy. I had 9 months, in theory, to make 59, and that'll be kind of the same thing. It'll be like World Games. Let that be a fun meet, SBD, at 66, and if I want to continue to cut down to 59, then I got time to do it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are probably going to approach it like that.
Yeah,
like why cut crazy if I don't have to?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if like Perk, he's already. I mean, Perk is just he's on a mission, and he wants to do what he wants to do, and ain't nobody gonna stop him. So it's gonna be up to Russ.
Is he the king right now, pound for pound?
Yeah, you can't deny that. Yeah, yeah.
Pound for pound.
Go ahead.
The only guy I think that might is Rondell. The problem with Rondell, he's like isolated on an island right now, unfortunately. I mean, freaking, he's suspended. He's trying to come over to the IPF, lifting as a guest lifter in USAPL. He did amazing at 120. He did to the 120s what Perk did to the 74s, but he didn't get the love like he was supposed to. He didn't get the attention he's supposed to. And he's coming. When he does come, he's going to come and hell's going to come with him.
Yes. The only thing that I will say is, like, when you look like pound for pound, the main reason why I have Perk in my books is because I do think Bob is there or pretty close to Rondell. And I think when you're looking at and he's a very light 120. He's still trying to fill out.
He's 106.
I know he's trying to fill out the class, and this man is talking about doing that 1,000 plus total kilos. But Perk, on the other hand, he's just he's so ahead. When like for you and I to be having the conversation or the powerlifting community, oh yeah, Perk out totaling the 83s. Yeah, that's not
right.
So it's just there's no question with Perk's top end what he's capable of doing. Like, nobody knows what this dude's top end is right now, and he's still just progressing. He's simply just on the up.
Perk is literally a once in a lifetime athlete. He's like one of the most special lifters we have, like this generation. Like he's it's crazy what he's doing.
Honest, that was one thing, because I had a group of family and friends that came to watch me at nationals, and I was like, when they were all asking, like, who's that guy that squatted 700, and I was explaining to them, like, you guys, like, genuinely, you guys just witnessed like genuine history, in the sense of this is the first person to do that in that weight class. But you guys got the opportunity to sit front row, because Tamara was super, super nice. She got my family one of the front tables. Thank you, Tamara, if you listen to this. But I was telling them, you guys were able to sit front row and watch a once in a lifetime lifter, that if you get to watch him again in person, soak it all in, because he is once in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And I give him his flowers, and he talks his talk because he can. But man, I am grateful to have shared the platform with him. And someday I'm gonna tell my son, when we're looking at the history of powerlifting, yeah, man, I got to lift with him.
Yeah, I was on the same team as him. Yep. Team USA. Exactly. Yep. I was on it. I was year 2. He was year 1. I had to show him around, tell him how things go. You pull him aside. You go, let me talk to you, young man. You're moving sideways right now. Let me straighten you out a little bit. Let me talk to you, man. Take a seat beside me. I'm gonna walk you through this. He's like, all right, calm down, bro. He's like, I know you're nervous. Take a seat, man. I'm gonna walk you through this. You'll be fine. Oh, but it is how do you wish that you were in a situation where, because it's fun as a fan. Seeing Perk and these guys when they call each other out, even when like Taylor fumbled at Worlds, Perk is like, this is your king. And he's all like, whatever. Russ did it to Petrie. Petrie did it to Russ.
Yep.
All the 74s have done it to each other and they get into all that. Do you watching this as a top end athlete be like, man, I want a rival like that? I want it. I want to shoot my shit.
Dude, I was just talking with one of my members here kind of about that. And it's like, yes, to answer your question, simply put, yes. Just because like we work too damn hard as athletes not to be able to talk our shit a little bit. Like, yes, I wish I had somebody that I could go back and forth with, make training exciting, build more hype for the matchup, for the meets. Yes, man. I do wish, and again, that's one of the things, like going up to 66 in the future will give me that.
Oh yeah.
There's killers out there, man.
There'll be like a dozen. I was talking to Marcellus about it on the podcast. They're like Brian Lee and Daniel Coleman's dropped out. It was still stacked.
Yes.
It was still killers.
Everybody was still
two guys gone.
Yes. Everybody was still talking about it.
Yeah. The total was still over the world record.
Dude.
Still, even with two guys out, it was stacked, man. It's I could tell where I could see where people are like, I want to get involved in some of this back. Some people don't like the back and forth. Mm-hmm. Even some of the women are kind of getting involved in a bit of the shit talking here and there.
Yes.
You get some people who are like, let's spice it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's just, if it's all sports, it is what it is. But look, this time is going to come and go, and you're going to look back. At the very least, you're checking off all the boxes and putting yourself in all the situations possible. Mm-hmm. From Worlds to Sheffield to World Games. And if you move up a weight class, you can add some excitement by calling out some champs on the top. And you've really got nothing to lose. And if you come in with the attitude, I'm going to take somebody's medal. I don't know whose it's going to be. I'm going to let you fellas decide. But one of you guys is going to lose your medal to a 59-kilo guy. That's a fact. You say that. All the 66s, and you didn't call one guy in particular, but the pressure is on them because you refer to yourself as a 59. Yep. And they're like, fuck that. I can't lose to a little guy. And you'll be like, well, somebody's going to lose their medal today. You guys decide who it is. I don't know. You guys decide amongst yourselves. You know what I'm saying? You can do shit like that. And people, it's David versus Goliath. People will cheer for you because you're the smaller guy. Yep. And
it's also, it just, and everybody roots for the individual until they start winning. And it's like at the end of then it becomes, when is he gonna lose?
Right. You're the Yankees now.
Yeah, right.
People root against you.
Yep. So then moving up, it resets that clock. Now, like, it resets it completely. Now, who's this guy coming up? I believe he can.
Well, this is where with Perk, if he goes at the other 74s, if the spread is great, it's almost like bullying at points, right? Where he's like, he'll get backlashed or whatever. I mean, look, Perk is a once in a generation talent who's enjoying his prime. I say, put your chest out, be bold. He never gets personal. It's always just numbers. Like I squat more than you, I lift more than you, like whatever. You know what I mean? The biggest scheme of things, it's okay. Like he's not crossing any lines. Right. But if the spread is too great, people will turn on you because you're like bullying at a certain point. It's like, okay, you got a 50-kilo spread on some of these guys. It's hard.
Yes.
Perk turns around, starts setting his sights at Russ. Now it's brave. Russ is bigger than you, stronger than you, and it's like, this is bold. Now that's a brave. Okay, people have to recalibrate how they talk about you now, because you're not a bully. It's the opposite.
Yes.
So yeah, to your point, picking your shots and understanding when you get a temperature of the room. If it's swinging the other way, be like, okay, I got to hop another direction here. I got to find my challenges and my narratives. And you very quickly get everybody back when you dare to be great. Like, I'm going to dare to be great. I'm daring to be great.
Who doesn't love it, man? Who would love to be part of and backing somebody who's willing to take that gamble, take that risk, and face face that. I'm a fan of, unless the matchup is like super or whatever, like in UFC. Whenever the class below is like, nah, I want him. I want what he's got. I want to take everything that he's worked for. I'm all for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Because it goes either way. Sometimes you have like a Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev, where Islam took
Yeah.
him out of there.
Yep.
Sometimes you have Conor McGregor versus Alvarez, where Conor McGregor moves up and blasts him out.
Yes.
And you're like, what? And Conor's like, I'm going to move up a weight class and blast you out of there. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. And he does. And people are like, holy shit. And then he walks around all cocky and like, God damn. It's hard to look past him. And it's a hell of an impression.
Yes, yes. And it's hard for me too, because then you'll have Conor went up, Volkanovski went up, and then you had TJ Dillashaw went down to fight
That's
Henry
right.
Cejudo. That'll never happen with me. I doubt any 66s that are cutting to make 66 would come down to 59. I doubt that.
That's an interesting, that's interesting because there's been a weird trend. Obviously, Evie Corrigan did it once Sheffield. Agatha did it once Sheffield.
Right.
I don't think so because Fedo posted up that crazy total.
Correct.
I think that to an extent, Fedo helped cover your base.
Correct.
But that is interesting if someone's like, even if it's not Sheffield, if they're just like, you know what, I think Wascar's vulnerable and maybe I want to clash with him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting.
We're
seeing more of it. I think you're right. It's not as often. It's not as likely, but we're seeing some people do it.
Yeah. But
it'd be good for you.
Correct. But then you have folks, I think maybe Gavin will be the next one who commits down to cut down to 83 from 93, which that'll be cool to see. But you're not really seeing folks come down. It's usually the other way. I mean, it is tough because the longer we're in the sport, the more muscle tissue we put on, the more the denser our body becomes, the less likely it is for your body to respond to weight cuts. So it's unlikely that I see it. If it happens, I'm all for it. Come down here. I'll show you what it's like to be a 59. But I think it's unlikely for it to happen. I think with the talent that we have and how hyped the 66s are, and in America the top 66s usually have to cut to make 59. To make 66. So I doubt that it'll happen
right
before I move up. But if it does, that'd be so exciting. That'd be exciting, dude. If anybody out there, listen, hey, SOS. If anybody out there,
bring it in. Let's make some magic happen. You got some time. No, I think you're right. Most of those guys are cutting to 66. It's stacked. It is stacked though. Like when you have a division that's almost at a saturation point, that's where some of the guys are like, I don't know if this is a bottleneck and I'm going to get through, and some crazy things happen. And some people start taking chances like these cuts. So it's a maybe, but it's more likely, to your point, you're going to smash weights, throw on muscle mass, and you're going to be moving up. And how far up do you think you'll move by the time? Like, how old are you right now? Mid-20s, right?
It's 26.
Okay, mid-20s. Yeah. And how long do you think you'll be lifting to?
Oof. I have dreams and goals that I hope to achieve sooner rather than later in my career. But it's tough to see me lifting past like 31, 32.
Oh wow, okay, that's relatively young.
Yeah. Because I have I love to get into mixed martial arts, for example.
My man.
Yeah. I'd love to learn that skill and learn mixed martial arts and maybe get in the cage at 125. Who knows?
Dude, I would obviously keep in contact, give me tickets. I'm a huge fan. I would be all over you if that's the route you take. But yeah, well, okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense where you need to exit while you're still athletically able to fulfill these other goals that you have.
And the only reason I say that too is because muscle memory, in my opinion, it's a beautiful thing. And we've seen people take time off or get injured and they're forced to take time off. But then once they're ready to come back, you see them come back. And I do believe it's one of those things where if I do take a break or decide to stop temporarily and try this new venture, it's not lifting is not one of those things that my body's just gonna forget. I do believe that if I wanted to come back at 35, I mean, Shell was able to do it. He went through so many
Yeah.
injuries, and then look,
Crazy injuries.
and now he's ruining Perk's dreams. So
Now he's kind of slow. Now he owes Perk a bag. Look,
exactly.
whatever happens, he better take Perk out for dinner and Lithuania. Be like,
Bare minimum, bare minimum.
Can I minimum be like, can I say sorry, man? It's not personal, but damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. And even if you do MMA, you could still lift weights and the whole nine. It won't be
Right.
powerlifting, but you will continue to lift weights, etc. And
Right.
yeah, man, if like Jurens is in his mid-30s with wife, kids, full-time job, Jurens is hitting PRs.
Correct.
To your point, Shell, mid-30s, wife, kids, full-time job, hitting PRs, whatever. Yeah, people are
Yeah.
doing crazy. And like, I mean, crushing it all of a sudden. Shell
Right.
is like crushing it. Same with Jurens, crushing it all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes your body just needs that little break.
right.
And it'll do wonders to it. I mean, it will do wonders to your body to like take that break and then come back to it, feeling almost have like the newbie phase all over again,
Yeah.
and let your body get right back into it. Let all the knee pain and shoulder pain relax for a little bit. So yeah.
And even mentally, the fatigue of it, you wait till you like if you're because you're in the grind. You guys are in a grind. You guys are in a meat grinder. You take a few years away and you let yourself love it again. And if
Yes.
the love comes back, you come back. If the
Mhm.
love doesn't come back, all right. But
Yeah.
weightlifting, you'll probably weightlift the rest of your life. It's just whether or not you're going to compete the rest of your life
Correct.
is what
Correct.
you want to see.
Yeah.
How big of a weight? Where do you think you'll end up before you leave in terms of weight class? You think 66 is as heavy as you
66.
go?
Yeah, 66. Yeah, because I mean, I'm 5'2". If I go anything above 66, it shows everywhere. And I'm not that guy to be above. I mean, honestly, 70 kilos was starting to show in places that I was like, man, this is too much.
You were wearing a lot of sweaters.
Yeah.
Well, hoodie up, hoodie up.
You know,
You were
so for sure, I think, I'll do my thing at 59. But when it comes time to go up to 66, and if that's where where I end up settling at, I think 66 will be as far as I take it and try to push that further. And also too, I think it'll allow for me to just push my body, because at the end of the day, we want to see how strong we can push it as athletes. How far can I take it? And of course, going up to 66, allowing myself to put more lean muscle mass on my frame, that'll allow me to push my body to what the limits might be of myself. So
I get that, like where people are as lifters, it's true. We're here to throw on muscle mass to see how strong you can get. For sure, there's weight classes, maximize the potential in front of you, collecting world titles, traveling the world, all these experiences for sure. But I also get when someone says, like Russ when he went to South Korea, and he goes, I'm going as a 90 because I just want to see what can I do if I don't cut. And I'm just
Right.
like, let me just see what that looks like. He had a fantastic total. He ended up getting the biggest 90-kilo total we'd seen.
Right.
So yeah, and he wouldn't have got that data point, and now he could be like, all right, okay, that's good to know. And so I get it. If you're like, look, before all things said and done, I want to make a bit of a run here and
Yeah.
just let me see what 66, however it ends up. And what helps is if you collect these world titles, Sheffield World Games, and all those experiences, you go up to 66, you've already done those things. They're not washed away. You're at ease. You're like, no, you like you were talking about regrets earlier.
Yeah.
You won't have regrets. It's like,
Correct.
no, don't do this, Wascar. What about what? What's what I got to do? I've done the world title. I've done Sheffield. I've done World Games. I've done all. You'll have done it all. You're like, I'm
Correct.
good. It's time. Let me see how
Then
much weight I could shift.
yes, and then it'll allow, because like that's one big takeaway, which I don't know what I can pinpoint it or relate it to, but when I competed at last year's World, it was my first World Championship. That I had the storyline going for me, but it was the calmest I've ever been at a meet. From my very first powerlifting meet when I was nervous as heck because man, I'm about to do this, to now stepping on the biggest stage I've been to at the time, it was the sense of calmness that I felt was like nothing else. And I can easily see that being the case. I do my thing at 59, collect my titles, my this, my that. Going up to 66 for me is the side quest. And
Yeah.
I'm coming in there calm, collected. And for the most part, that world outside of missing the third deadlift, it was like I'm executing. And it was just me. I was on autopilot. I knew what I had to do. So I can easily see myself, if I can show up to these meets in the future at 66 being calm, that for sure might be a problem, because that's when I'm going to be able to do my thing and just kind of autopilot into the totals.
Because you've already proven yourself too. Like,
Exactly.
It's not like they talk about certain athletes, or they're like, oh, he'll get exposed. Well, he's a multiple-time world champion now, so
Yeah.
kind of late, a little late for that, huh? You know what I mean? Like, you are now a world champ. You collect another one. You do all these things. You up to 66 is like, man, this is all fun now.
Yeah,
This is all
yeah.
icing on my cake. I'm hungry. Let's
And
just
just
add
like
some
you
more
said,
onto it.
I can take two approaches to it. I can just be like, all right, hey guys, and I'm going up to 66. We're gonna see what's possible. That's one route, right? Or we take the sound bite that you said from this video and say, hey man, who's
That's
gonna
right.
lose medal to the
Who's losing the
59?
podium spot today, gentlemen? Who is it? Game tight. I'm coming 9 for 9. I hope you are. Who is it? I'll let you guys discuss. You see that in the warm-up room?
Imagine.
Matt Gary's okay. Take it easy, son. Take it easy.
You know how Taylor he'll do Taylor Russ, they'll do this in their thing, and Panath, they'll look at the athletes and mug them and, hey, I'm here, like, assert their presence. And then you got me back there. It's like, who's gonna do it?
Yeah, who is it?
Who's
Who is
losing
it? I don't mind what color it is, but I want on that podium. I want on that podium spot. You guys work it out amongst yourselves. Work it out.
Man.
Work it out.
So,
Listen, man, I got another podcast coming. Your boy's heavy on the grind. I'm grinding. I got actually Matt Gary, your your new U.S. national team coach, head coach.
What a pleasure it was to work with him.
You guys are in good hands. I can tell you that right now.
Dude, yes.
He's the GOAT for a reason. At the very least, when you show up to the World Championships, if it's going to be a tight race with Fedo there, the Russians will have a good head coach as well. Mm-hmm. But Matt Gary has battled the Russians. Matt Gary, you'll have the best possible handling. If it's close, you're going to win. The only way you're going to lose with Matt Gary is if it's not close. It's like, look, I'll get you as close as I can, and hopefully they fumble.
Right.
But he is that guy.
Yes.
He will apply pressure. He doesn't make mistakes.
Oh, yes.
So just get close, and you're okay. And that doesn't always happen, bro. I see people who are weaker than the other guy lose sometimes in powerlifting. That happens. Mm-hmm. I've seen it happen with Matt Gary handling the weaker guy. Yeah, right? It's close enough, but you're like, you should not have lost to that guy. Yeah. You made a mistake, and Matt Gary ate your food on you, huh? You know, you could see it. It happens, man.
100%. And we'll leave it with that. That if Fedo ends up being there, the team that I'll be coming with, just don't make a mistake, because I'm coming in with everything I've got. And like I said earlier, if this ends up being the time that we clash, best believe I'm gonna capitalize, and there will be there's no other way the story ends besides him losing and me going to Sheffield come June.
There it is, dog. He's getting his first L. His first number 2 on open powerlifting.
100%.
Listen, man, we're gonna keep in contact. I'm gonna talk in your DMs and everything. But I'll see you in Lithuania, my man.
Let's do it.
We'll go for burgers afterwards, like last time.
Hey.
All right, my man. And everybody listening, please do subscribe. Give us high ratings. Until next time, 6-pack Lapadat. 6 up. And we are out.